Hello there, Qckslvrslash here with a World of Warships replay for you today. You join myself and my division mate NV Mountain Dew on the Solomon Islands in our Tier 5 ships. I'm driving the Tier 5 Premium Soviet destroyer, the Gremyashchy, which is a Nevny class destroyer, and he is driving the ever-reliable Tier 5 German cruiser, the Königsberg. After my videos and just talking to him, telling him that I love the ship, he decided to give it a try, and he has had some great games in it since. This one will not be an exception. But I don't intend to let him show me up, and I am planning to really show off how good a destroyer this thing actually is. So being a Nevny class, you can expect it to carry a lot of those Russian destroyer characteristics, reliable guns, but the main difference is she gets 8-kilometer torpedoes. Slightly worse reload on them, but they are very reliable and often unexpected. A lot of people see a Russian destroyer now and just go, 4-kilometer torpedoes, and ignore. So you can catch some ships unaware, and for those that you don't, you still have incredibly reliable 130 millimeters with a great rate of fire and some really good penetration out to about 7 or 8 kilometers. The one downside, as you can see right now, is just look at that glacial turret speed. It really does hurt this ship. You cannot maneuver while firing, so you can't get in close like some of the other destroyer gunboats and knife fight. You have to stay a little further back, and I find I primarily end up engaging cruisers and battleships, using HE to set fires and use that range to compensate for the poor gun traverse, because I'm never going to have to track a target quickly. So obviously, enemy destroyer in this cap. I suspect he is hiding up in the northwest corner, hidden by this point of land, so I'm going to put both my sets of torpedoes right at the edge of land in case he's trying to peek out and get cheeky, maybe fire some torpedoes, and start my turrets turning around the other direction. Friendly Clemson seems to have a similar idea, throwing his in the water, and then I get spotted as that smoke screen begins to dissipate, and 2 of my torpedoes look to be golden. Both end up hitting, doing 9,800 damage. Unfortunately, as I kind of got mesmerized watching the torpedoes, I ran aground, but it's not going to be a big deal because you can see he returned fire with his torpedoes, but they're going to run out before they make it to me. Nevertheless, I will use my speed boost here in a second just because I wasn't 100% sure, but it wasn't a worry. So meanwhile in the south you can see NV Mountain Dew with a Wyoming and a Phoenix against a Wyoming, Phoenix, Svetlana, Kirov, and an Omaha. And our friendly Phoenix is dead down there, so it's 2 versus 5. And despite not having backup, NV is going to do some massive damage. Meanwhile, I have no intentions of letting my sister ship get away. This Nevny is sadly done. They're backing away. You can see the vector on the map. They missed their chance to try to run, and I'm going to make them pay for it. I think right here they figure they might try to get one last set of torpedoes in the water, but a solid volley from my guns quickly ends any opportunity of that. So we're going to actually race down and watch NV for a bit, because I just end up staying in B, trying to cap it, and then move up towards A. Whereas NV and our Wyoming are in a bit of a death struggle. It's looking like 3-on-1 or 3-on-2 now, though that's going to quickly turn into a 3-on-1 with all this cruiser fire starting to erase this Wyoming, and looks like at least 2 fires going on them. But look at that massive volley NV just put into that Kirov. And unfortunately, I'm at the edge of my radar, or sorry, radio and vision range, so they aren't spawned anymore, but you can see that Qckslvrslash is dead and sinking. Envy got another kill. And now we're going to jump back to my ship as I begin to engage this Nicholas, Qckslvrslash, and Omaha. So you can see that great rate of fire from these 130mm guns. And I'm managing to put some really solid damage in. So some torps in the water, I'm going to go around this edge of land and pursue this Qckslvrslash, intent on finishing him off. Nothing has hit me yet, and he is burning. I can't let him get away on this kind of health and continue to put those massive guns to use. Meanwhile, Envy is doing what the Qckslvrslash does well, which is a running fight. With those two turrets on the stern, you can turn away, use her superior range and gun power to engage ships that are chasing you and slowly wipe them out. But unfortunately, he was finished off before the friendly ships arrived. But it didn't mean he didn't have a good game. Meanwhile, I managed to finish off that Qckslvrslash, and now I've got a full health Congo with my eyes set on some hopefully easy damage. He doesn't seem to be looking at me, and that's something I'm going to really focus on as I continue to close him. I want to stay far enough away that his secondaries can't engage me until I've got Charlie capped, and then begin to close. So I put a first set of torpedoes in. You can see I fire one at the marker, the other well behind, because I'm anticipating that he is going to turn and slow down to dodge my torpedoes. Which, maybe I gave him too much credit, because he doesn't seem to be reacting to gunfire from the destroyer right beside him. Why would he react to torpedoes? So it's right now that his first volley comes at me. He underestimates my speed. I turn and only end up getting over-penetrated by one shell of the first volley. But it's now that I've closed into the secondary range, so it's basically going to be continuous gunfire from him here on out. And just watch the gun indicators as I just maneuver my hull, even the slightest bit. You'll see them jump off and I become unable to fire, which makes it hard to do these kind of close to no range stealth kills, because any kind of turn, you're going to lose your gun power. But I'm more interested in putting torps into him, fire off all 6, and this is going to be an easy kill.
Enemy battleship destroyed.
So with every single capture point taken and only their enemy CV remaining, this game is all but in the bag. I managed about 75,000. Envy himself got about 50,000, which at tier 5, very respectable numbers. I walked off with 3 kills and had 4 torpedoes and managed to secure 2 caps in an equal tiered game. You know, this ship really excelled at seal clubbing when you saw tier 3s, but with the changes to matchmaking, you end up in tier 6 and 7 games far more often, because tier 4s cannot see tier 6s, and there's a greater population of that tier 5, 6, and 7, so they tend to be the games you end up in. And the Gremyashchy still does a superb job in those games. You stand off, put her guns to use the longer range torpedoes, and you will have great games. See the final ship spotted, trying to close, using that last little bit of the speed boost to get into range to put a little more damage in. and cap off what is already a very solid game.
Engine boost deactivated.
And 11.9 comes into range, and I begin to bombard him along with the rest of my team. Managed to score a Citadel with HE, but wouldn't have mattered. This carrier is done for. I don't even know that they had planes left at this point. Our CV really seemed to outperform them. The game is over. 356,000 credits, 11,484 experience with that 200% win of the day. Just shy of 80,000 damage. I put in 73 shells, 2 torps, got 3 kills, 6 fires, and I even got a Citadel on that carrier. I managed to solo cap one of the bases, assisted with another, and ultimately I thought I had a very solid game. 2,300 experience myself. My division mate NV Mountain Dew got just about 1,600, 2 kills himself. And you can see how much damage I managed to do kind of across the board. 21,000 with my main battery, 26,000 with my torps, 18,000 with fires, and 10,000 with floods. And that is why this ship is so strong. Is unlike a lot of the other Russians, its torps are still useful. And its guns are good. The only thing you really have to adjust to is you can't do that kind of American wiggle because the turrets just won't keep up. Otherwise, it's a really strong ship and a lot of fun to drive. And all said and told, after refilling and repairs and all that, 344,000 credits, 11,000 experience, and 14,000 experience. Well, actually, closer to 15,000 experience for the captain of my Tashkent. And ultimately, that's the best part of this ship, is you can have really strong games, and it allows me to retrain my Soviet captains. I hope you had fun watching this. I'll have another video for you guys tomorrow, and as always, please give me that thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. And I would love your subscription if you're a first-time watcher. Have a good day.